Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Dina. It is May 19th and I'm coming to you for the last time for this trip from St. Simon's. Today is Monday and we leave first thing in the morning. We have made contact with our son and we are going to try to meet him for lunch again tomorrow. So hopefully we can. We shall see. We're going to try. It depends on his work schedule and how things are going by the time we get there. But today I have great news to share with you as far as stitching. And I want to do that in an organized way if I can. But today is Monday. And so in May, that means a May Monday start. So for my start today, I started another sweater in the Noel and Blue series, and today I started the Reindeer one. This was a start from scratch, and I am very excited to tell you that I put in 403 stitches in this. I'm delighted. I think it's a beautiful start to the sweater. I got a lot done today. I did a center start. And I'm hoping that that'll go better for me because the last one I did, which was this snowman, if you'll recall, I got off somehow on the shoulder coming around and I wound up cutting off a couple of spaces in here and I wound up having to forego the tree and the sweater came right up to the snowman. So, no, it came up to the tree. There we go. But it took part of the tree. You can see. But it looks fine. It's just a little off, and I know it from looking at the pattern. That full tree should have been there. So this is my way of trying to avoid having the sweater be too small, is to do a center start. And I did the reindeer first, and then I started with the sweater background and the tree. The next time that I pick it up, I will probably go ahead and do either the rest of the bottom of the sweater, which is a border kind of thing, and then I would more than likely go upwards and do the blue stripe across so that I can get the rest of these trees placed. And then I'm going to do the outline last. I'm gonna see how I like it. I've got one more sweater in this series to do later in the year, and it's this one. And so if I like this technique better, I can use it for all the sweaters because I also have the red ones to do, and then I've got the woodland series to do. So that would be 12 altogether from this group, from Lila'sStudio. So I'm excited about that. But today, based on all the stitching that I've been doing since I've been at the beach, I am very happy to tell you that I was able, with the sweater being a Lila'sStudio with an L, I was able to finish out my last letter in my acrostic for the Daily 30 group. And then I went back to the 24 hours of cross stitch where I needed 4 more. And I look back over what I've stitched since I've been here this week, and although they weren't the original things I thought the letters could stand for, I did find a way to meet all 4 of the remaining letters in the 24 hours of cross stitch with all the different things that I've been stitching and all the stitches that I put in. So as of today, I am finished with my acrostics for the month of May. I'm delighted about that. Couldn't have come at a better time because now I will be, tomorrow, I will be trying to stitch on my bingo call for tomorrow on our trip. And then I have one day at home before I travel again. But because that will limit my bingo calls to the final, let's see, I'll do tomorrow's and then I have one day at home. I'll only have 4 left, and I should be able to figure out something to take with me that would meet those 4 pieces and me not have to ask for numbers ahead of time or anything like that. I should be able to figure it out. So that'll be good. So acrostics are met. My bingo is met for the day, and I'm just waiting on the call for tomorrow. And then I can make sure when I load the car, I have that ready and accessible to me. So as I'm riding home, I can hit that goal. So that means I get a really fresh look at what I want to take with me on my little retreat that's coming up. I leave Thursday morning to go to a retreat house that we've rented, myself and 7 other ladies. And we will be there through Memorial Day. We don't have to leave there till 5 o'clock on Monday if we want to stay that late. So I can now look and just see, what do I want to take with me that I want to put more stitches into, but that are stitches you can do at a retreat when you're visiting and talking, with everybody else. So I'm thinking that my sweater that I just started might be one. I'm thinking that my Ode to a Good Dog might be one, because it's on a Q-snap. That would be a good one to do. My recent new start, Our Nest is Blessed, would be a great one to take with me. I might even say stitch on it, and finish it up. We are going to have one new start. We're calling it Out of Our Stash at Last, and we're going to go back and get something very old, either an old new start or one of your oldest whips, and bring it to stitch together. And we're actually going to have a time of 1 hour that we're going to dedicate to that all together at the same time on Saturday morning. Mine will be a new start. I've mentioned that to you before, but not everybody's will. I've already heard from one person who has a very old whip, and they really want to bring it and get some stitches put in it. And that's the whole point of this anyway, is to put stitches in something that's old, that's been, hanging around for a long time, either in your stash or in your whip pile. So I think that is really, really good. The other new start that I have from just recent, which was another May Monday start, was Nativity Tiny Town. So I plan on taking that with me. And then I have to start working on something for a gift. And the person that it's for actually watches my channel. So I'll be working on that, but I won't be telling you about it and sharing it with you. But don't worry, once I finish it, I will film about it so that once it is gifted, I can insert the film and you can see it. But I won't be able to share it to you while I'm working on it. It'll be a secret stitch until then. So I know those are things I'm going to take with me. That may be all I take with me, but as of right now, those are definitely things I have that I feel like are contenders to go with me. And that's been great to be able to kind of look at that and think about it since I've been here, and I think, 2 new starts since I've been here, because the final number that'll be called tomorrow is a new start. It's because that's the last number left. I know that'll be the one for tomorrow, that'll be great. I don't have to really wait too late to try to pack everything up. I'll be able to know what to pack up when I finish filming with you. I've already packed my clothes. I've already emptied the refrigerator. I'm ready to organize the food and get it ready. All the dry goods and non-perishable stuff I'll put in a box tonight before we go to bed. And then tomorrow we'll just take our insulated bag and our cooler and put all the cold stuff that I'm taking back with me, what little bit I'm taking back with me, in that, and we'll be ready to go. So my husband and I are going to take baths this evening because we have to launder the towels. We have to wash and dry them before we leave, but you also have to be gone by 10 o'clock. So unless you want to get up at the crack of dawn, you have to do that the night before. So we'll do that. And I bring my own sheets so that I don't have to launder those. So I'll strip the beds and change those in the morning right before we leave. And other than that, I think we've been cleaning as we go. And so we feel like we'll have that finished before we go to bed tonight. We'll have everything ready for us to depart as soon as we really load the car in the morning. So that'll be great. It's been such a wonderful time. Really has been a good time. My husband went to the air show yesterday. He had a great time. He said they had wonderful demonstrations. He had a great entry ticket to be able to see everything he wanted to see. But when it got time for the Blue Angels, it was about an hour before their show. They got a thunderstorm, really bad thunderstorm blew in, and the Blue Angels had to leave before it got here. And so they had to cancel the Blue Angels, and they took off. And wouldn't you know, about 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes after they did all of that and they left, the thunderstorm rolled through and was gone. Gone in 15 minutes. My husband was so disappointed. He said, I wish they could have just put him in a hangar to keep him safe and let the rain blow through, and then they could go back and do their flight. But then he thought about it, and he said they probably have such a huge flight pattern that they have to be able to do that the storm may not have been, you know, out of that whole flight pattern in time, because they were supposed to be through by 5 o'clock, and they canceled it about 3:45, 4 o'clock. So that was the only thing he missed, though, and he had a great time. So that was really what precipitated this trip, was for him to get to go to that air show. We go traveling for me sometime for retreats, and we go traveling for us sometime for him to run races or bike races. And this time it was to go to this big air show. So, you know, we like finding reasons to go somewhere at a particular time when we know we're going to have something fun, you know, to get to do together. So it's been a great trip. Thanks for coming along with me. And I hope that we have a chance to come back again next year. We would like to. And we actually have invited some friends to come with us next year to see if they might want to do that. One couple is all in, and another couple still thinking about it. We shall see. But I just wanted to thank you for letting me share my travels with you, and my stitching, because I still try to do a lot of stitching even when I travel if I can. And I am fortunate to be able to do that when I travel with my husband. He's been reading a great book, and so he's been sitting at the other end of the table reading, and I've been stitching, and then he'll read something very interesting and he'll share it with me. So we've been talking about his book the whole weekend. But we will watch, either watch a movie or we'll watch some sort of episode of one of the things that we like to watch, a series that we're into, together tonight, and kind of end our vacation together as a family. He and Coco are at the beach, as I said. They'll be gone for probably 30, 45 minutes, and then she'll run herself ragged, and they'll get home, and he'll blow all the sand off of her. And then when we get home tomorrow, Coco will go to the pets palace, and Tommy will give her a good bath to get all the sand and the smell of the ocean or anything that she's gotten in her fur out. So that'll be good. Well, I'm hoping that we get to see our son tomorrow so he can see Coco again, because she got so excited when she saw him. I'd love to see. This time I'm going to try to get my phone ready if I can, fingers crossed, that I can catch it for you, because it's precious. It's absolutely precious. All right, I'll let you get on to what you were doing. I'm going to pack up now and get ready for an evening of entertainment with my hubby, watching TV or playing. We brought some card games we haven't played yet, so we may wind up doing that tonight. But until we talk again, happy stitching, everybody, and happy travels. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is Tuesday. It's May 20th, and I'm back at home. We traveled home today. We actually did get to see our son on the way back, and so I will put pictures at the end of him and Coco together. He recommended that we meet for lunch at a barbecue place, a local barbecue place there. I believe the name of it was Dolan's, if I'm not mistaken. But it was great. They had an outdoor covered, fenced in area like a patio type area, but it was very large. And so we were able to take Coco with us, and we sat at a little picnic kind of area in that outdoor space, and we're able to have our lunch together, and Coco just sat right there at our feet and was doing great. She did better this trip. We tried a new series of medications. She still didn't want to sit down. I did finally get her to lay on top of me in my lap for about an hour or two today, but otherwise she stood up, mostly on my lap. She stood on my leg to the point where I'm afraid to look. I'm afraid it's going to be bruised, but it was very sore when we got home. But she got so excited when we got to our neighborhood. She recognized it, and she was whimpering. And when Tommy asked her, he said, well, look for your friend Bailey and see if she's there. And when we got to Bailey's house, she looked out the window looking for Bailey. And he said, well, look for Loki, see if Loki's outside. And we went by Loki's house, and she looked out the window. She wasn't looking out the window any other time, but when we got to their houses, she looked for them. These dogs are so smart. They are so smart. The sweetest thing that happened the last night that we were there, and Tommy and Coco were on the beach for quite a while, and they ran into a couple there who just wanted to love on Coco so badly because she looked just like their dog, and their dog had passed away 6 weeks ago. It was very fresh, and they had to tell Tommy all about their dog, which he wanted to know, of course. And I was really glad that Coco even let them touch her, because she's very picky about that. She doesn't like strangers touching her. But she did let this lady pet her a little bit under her chin, which just made this woman's day. So I'm happy that she did that. But Tommy came back from the beach, and he was a little bit kind of sad. You know, he said there was a reason for us to be here this weekend. There was a reason for us to be here this weekend. We had to meet that lady. It was sweet. But in addition to all the other stitching I've shared with you, today was a travel day, and so I didn't get a lot of stitching done today. It's much harder to get stitching done in the car, especially with Coco in my lap. And so I barely got my bingo stitching done today. I'm a little bit better than that. I did 243 stitches, all total, but some of that I did after I got home. So today, on my bingo call, had a new start called Neighborhood Friends. And this is what it's going to look like. That's a computer-generated rendering. But I started in the middle top with the cat. And what I've done is the cat and the two branches that come out behind the kitty cat. So there you go, just some nice solid stitching, but it was harder to see in the car with the glare going by. It's like a strobe light going by, and I had that for a good portion of the trip. But when it finally kind of got on the interstate where it wasn't quite so fluttery, then that's where I got most of it done. And that was the time that Coco was in the front seat with her daddy. Then she decided Mama looked a lot more comfortable. So anyway, I've got this in my puppy dog bag. This is a Garon tote bag. Look, puppy dogs. Aren't they sweet? And I know that's supposed to be a Labrador, but look at this one right here. Doesn't that look like a little bit like my little Coco? That's why I bought it. And then it has the little doggy bones on the inside. So cute, so cute. So that's my stitching. Now, I am now at the point where I need to regroup and decide what I'm going to take with me on Thursday. Because tomorrow, I'm helping my friend Donna with her last load or two of her move. She got most of it done while we were gone, bless her heart, all by herself. She had a help with the really heavy stuff. She hired a company to do that for just one day and got them to move all the big, heavy furniture. But all the boxes and stuff, she said she felt like she could handle. And she rented herself a U-Haul and brought it up. So tomorrow, my friend Juliana and I are going to meet up with Donna, and we're going to help her get the rest of her boxes and clothing up here, and she'll be out of her house tomorrow, which will be great. She'll be in her new place, which is 5 minutes from me. I'm excited. So, I think that'll be great. So that's what I'm doing part of my day tomorrow. The other part of my day tomorrow, I'm doing some errands that I need to do for my trip. I have to pick up the groceries that I'm supposed to take, and I need to go pick up a prescription, and I need to go pick up my framed Hawk Run Hollow because they called me while I was at the beach and it's ready. I'm so excited. So I'll pick that up tomorrow and I'll share it with you tomorrow night. But while we were at the beach, we did a little bit of shopping, and I went to a couple of thrift stores, and my friend Cheryl, that I do all the Raggedy Ann stuff for, also collects lighthouses. And I found these two homemade lighthouses. And they're very similar. They're almost identical. But the lighthouses are different. And so I thought it would be nice if she had this pair that she might could sit on her table, you know, something of that nature. And so I'm going to give those to her as part of her Christmas this coming year. So I wanted to share that with you. That was my thrifting that I did. So our trip home was uneventful, which is wonderful. And tomorrow, my husband is going to go on a nice long hike. I have a lot of little things I need to do, but I can certainly be here in and out to take care of Coco and take her for her walks and to make sure she's fed breakfast and that, you know, she'll be catching up on some sleep, I'm sure. And but, you know, I'll make sure she's okay. And then we'll trade places, and he'll stay with Coco while I help my friend Donna after she gets off work tomorrow night. And then Thursday morning, bright and early, at about 9:30, my friend Juliana is going to pick me up, and we are going on a weekend retreat. There'll be 8 of us all total at any one given time. There are 9 of us that are going to spend the weekend together, but one of the ladies could only be there half the time, so I found another friend who would fill in the rest of the time, and so they're going to split one of the places for 8 people. So we'll actually get to stitch with 9 ladies, but, you know, 2 of them will only be there half of the time. I hope that we have a lot of good stitching to share with you as a result of that. My Out of the Stash at Last will be my new start. I've got it fully kitted, and it's going to be this little angel right here. And I've got it ready to go. I've got to put it in a project bag. And then I don't know what else I'm going to take with me. But I am thinking that I will probably take my new starts with me. I would like to take my Our Nest is Blessed. I'd like to finish that. I would like to take my brand new Neighborhood Friends and get some more stitches in it. I would like to take, another recent new start was Nativity Tiny Town. I'd like to take that with me and get some more stitches in that. And I think that's probably, with this new start, is going to be enough. And that'll give me plenty to work on. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So I'm going to let you move on to the next segment of the video, and I will get busy pulling all of my stitching together so I can pack my bag and have it ready. I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're getting a lot of stitching in. I was telling Donna today that I had gotten so much progress on Royal Games 2 and Miss Christmas Eve, but I didn't want to take them with me because I'm tired of working on them right now, and I need to give myself that break and do the last bit of it in June because there's still a lot of stitching to do on both of those because of all the beads that have to go in there. But I think if I were to take them over the weekend, I'd be so close to a finish, I wouldn't want to do anything else. And then I would just do that the whole time I was there, and I wouldn't touch anything else. So I don't want to do that. I want to take a lot of little things, you know, that I'd like to work on. So I will say goodnight again. I'm having a hard time saying goodbye. I guess I've missed you guys. And I will talk to you soon. And in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is Wednesday, the 21st of May, and I'm here to let you know about my bit of stitching that I completed today. I did a lot of errands this morning, getting ready for a trip tomorrow, and then I helped a friend move a bit, took a carload of clothing and things to their new home for them this evening. And had dinner with a couple of friends. So the only stitching I've accomplished so far today has been my bingo stitch. And my bingo stitch was a whip of choice for my number that was called for today. And my whip of choice I picked today was My Temperature Tree by Sarah Hughes. So here's where I got. I did 199 stitches. I stitched all the temperature leaves for the entire month of May up through today. And that was 199 stitches. And I only needed 100 for bingo. So that's how my temperature tree is looking. And now I can put it away until the end of the month when I will complete that branch and go from there. So I was able to, in part of my errands today, pick up one of my FFOs today from Hobby Lobby. I went to Hobby Lobby and picked up my spring at Hawk Run Hollow. Now, if you recall, I personalized it and I changed Hawk Run Hollow in the header to say Water's Edge Drive, because that's our neighborhood's name, Water's Edge. And so I did personalize it a little bit, and I got it back today. And so I took a little film of it because I walked in the house, ripped the plastic off of it, and put it on the wall. It's hanging. So I'll insert that clip for you here to let you see my spring at Hawk Run Hollow. Well, here it is, hanging on the wall. This is my spring at Hawk Run Hollow. I picked it up today and I've already hung it on the wall. So I just wanted to give you a close-up of it. This is the same frame molding that is around my By the Bay piece that's over the mantle, which is right in the next room. So that'll tie them both together. But I just think this is so pretty on this wall. You'll see I changed the top to say Water's Edge Drive instead of Hawk Run Hollow. And there you go. You can see each of the poem pieces. I didn't leave any of the poem out. I just left out 2 squares that weren't my cup of tea as much as the others. And I'm going to back up now so you can see kind of where it is in the house. It's on a little part of the wall that turns to go down the hall. So I think it looks great there. It's right inside the front door. So when you come in and look to the left, sorry for the glare, this is what you'll see. I hope you like it. I love it. I think it looks really, really good in that space. I'm sorry there was a bit of a glare for you because when I got home with it today and filmed that, the sun was shining brightly through the door, the windows on the 2 sides of the door. So that's the big, my big accomplishment today really was picking that up and getting that home. So I don't know that I'll get any more stitching done tonight. I'm doing some final packing and prepping for my trip tomorrow. My friend Juliana's picking me up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and so I have, I've got to be ready. So I can't stay up all night. But I hope that you are having a great week, and we're about to head into a wonderful weekend soon. I probably won't get to record another video, another little segment until I get back home. And so if everybody's okay with me recording at the retreat, I might could do that, but I'm not sure. I always hesitate to ask people that don't have a FlossTube channel about being videoed because I don't want them to feel pressured to do that because they're my friend, you know. So I'll just kind of have to play that by ear. But there are several of us there who have either done floss tube before or have a floss tube channel. So it might be something we could do. Anyway, I'll see you soon. It'll be just a few seconds for you. It may be a few days for me. But in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina, and this is my channel about cross stitch, in case I haven't reminded you of that lately. Today is Tuesday. It's May 27th, and I got back yesterday evening from a weekend retreat with just some friends from across the state. We got together at a little retreat rental house in Canton, Georgia, and had a fabulous time. It holds 8. There are enough rooms to sleep there, and there's a full kitchen there and a beautiful craft room. We each had our own table and spaces, and then we had couches and recliners and things like that if you wanted to get away from a table and sit in a little more comfortable position for a little while. It was great fun. There were 9 of us all total because one of the spaces for the 8 people who could come was split in half because the one of the ladies couldn't be there but 2 days, and so I was able to invite another lady to fill the other 2 days of her visit. So that way we got to see 9 people instead of 8, which was great, and we didn't break any rules to do that. So I think that's wonderful. But I did have goals when I left here. I always do. I think about what do I want to accomplish, what I'd like to do. The first goal was just to have fun and talk and visit with everybody, and we did that for sure. We played some games. We had a scavenger hunt, but just in our stitching supplies. We didn't have to go anywhere. I just had a list of items, and people had to find them in their bags. We had a hidden word puzzle game that was all stitching words. We had, we played a little game called Out of the Stash at Last. Everybody worked on they're either an old whip they hadn't touched in a long time, or we started something that was in our stash from way back when. I think the oldest pattern was 1989. Mine was 1999, but there were 2 people who had patterns older than that. But that's not how you won a prize. I had a questionnaire at the end of the hour for our new start. People filled out a questionnaire about the piece they were working on. So it included things like fabric count and number of colors and all these kinds of things. And you just got points for where you fell on the scale. And then whoever had the most points won the prize. So that was fun. It was not a competition of how many stitches you could get done in an hour or anything like that, because we all stitch at different speeds. And I just didn't think that would be any fun at all. I didn't want to make it pressured. But I think everybody liked it, and we had a good time. So, got home yesterday afternoon. And Coco was quite funny. She had been missing her mama, which is unusual because usually when she's with her daddy, she's happy. But she had missed me, and I noticed that she was very much wanting my attention, wanting me to touch her and love on her and give her belly rubs. And she sat with me when we watched TV. It warmed my heart because she really had missed her mama. And she laid right next to me on my leg while we were watching TV and just followed me around. It was, the biggest thing is she normally every night brings my husband a toy to play with for him to chase her and play tug. And he said she hadn't done that the whole time I was gone. But she did last night, but she brought it to me. So I got to play chase and tug and everything with her. It was fun. It was like she was saying, hey, I'm glad you're home. Let's play. You know, I want some time with you. Really warmed my heart. So that was good. So while we were there, we stitched. And I want to show you exactly what I was able to accomplish. So my first goal I had set for myself was, if I could, I wanted to finish Our Nest is Blessed, because that was one of my May Monday starts and I wanted to get it done. And I am happy to report that I did. I have not ironed it yet. I apologize, but I just got home last night and I didn't want to wait to do the filming today. So here it is. And as you know, buttons don't always sit perfectly straight when they're just being shown off. So when I frame it, I may actually put a little glue on it or something to hold it right there. But it's supposed to be sitting on that little branch. Isn't that cute? Our nest is blessed. So it says north, south, east, or west, no matter where, our nest is blessed. This was a very, very old pattern itself. It was in the 80s as well, and or 90s. I'll have to look, but it was a kit. So this is the kit fabric, which was a Lugana, 32 count Lugana, and then this is a, or maybe it was 28 count, might have been 28 count. And the button came with it, which I think is too big for the piece. I may or may not remove that. The more I'm playing with it, the more it's irritating me. But I love the sentiment, and I think it's very sweet. So there you go. Our nest is blessed. That was my first finish, and I did say first. So just get ready. Here we go. So then the next thing I wanted to work on, a lot of these were driven by what was called for my bingo. So the next one that I had to work on for my bingo was my neighborhood friends. And I haven't told you how many stitches I've been putting in, have I? So on my Nest is Blessed, it took 559 stitches to finish it, but I was able to do that. My neighborhood friends, I wound up working on 2 days. I worked on it. The first day, put 135 stitches in it. And then the second day, I worked on it just to finish up a thread or a section I was working on. And I just put another 59 stitches. So all total, that would have been 144 stitches, I guess. Because math, Stephanie. Anyway, so here's where I got to with that. I've added the leaves on both sides now. I got ready to go to the next color. And the reason I stopped working on this is the next color for me was the most logical thing for me to do next were these little red flowers, red and pink looking flowers. And there's a symbol in there for the darker color. And I went to look for it and it's not there. It's not in the key. So I asked one of the ladies with me to double check behind me. Could she find it? Wasn't there. So then it was like, okay, now what am I going to do now? And so we thought about, well, it just needs to be a darker pink red because it's in that flower. Well, then we look more, the same color as the bench. And the bench looks brown. So it's got to be kind of a reddish brown. So we thought, well, okay, how do we figure out what color that is? Went online and looked to see if there were any corrections. There weren't. But we went to 1, 2, 3 Stitch. We pulled up the chart to see what colors might be listed for if you bought all the colors. And what we found is that it's been re-released under a different name. It's now called, it's a different one, something party or something. Anyway, it's got a different name under the bottom. It's the same picture, a different name. And this was actually a chart that was originally done as a benefit for animal shelters. And so they probably did that first, and then when they released it to the public, they adapted it, changed the name a little bit. Anyway, we looked up that chart, and we found the symbol. And it was for 37.77, which is, dark salmon, because the lighter color in the flower is a medium salmon. So that'll look really good together. And if you know 37.77, it is a rusty looking, kind of brownie, orange color. So it'll be fine. It'll be exactly what I need for this. So I have to pull that. I haven't pulled it yet, and put it in with my kit, and then I can start working on it again. But that was the discovery, and it was interesting to see how our minds all worked together, and people came up with different ideas on how to help me figure out what color this should be. So this is an old chart, but if you have it, make a note. You need to add 3777 in for the symbol that is the number 8 with a dark circle around it. On the pattern, that's what it looks like. So that's that one. And then the next thing I wanted to do, and I was very, very happy with how far I got with this one. I'm going to a finishing class in June with my friend Donna, and we are driving to Little Rock, Arkansas, and we are taking a finishing class with Kathy Haberman at the Shepherd's Needle. And we have pre-stitching to do, and I got it the day I left, right before I left. So I was so excited about it, and I took it with me because it was, you know, the pre-stitching came with everything you needed to stitch it. But this is what our pre-stitching looks like. If you haven't gotten yours, you should have it by now, but if you haven't, look away. But it's 3 pieces, and it's on 3 separate colors of fabric. You use the same flosses, but you use different colors of fabric. This is called Harvest Moon. It's a moon with a face in it. This is called Candy Corn Row. And I think this one's called Pumpkin Row. Pumpkin Blossom Row. Pumpkin Blossom Row. So you have your 3 pieces of fabric to do, and you have your floss. And so I got started, and I started on the smallest one first. And this is my Harvest Moon. Got it done. And then I went ahead and did what I thought was going to be the longest one, the biggest one, with the most color changes, because I thought I need to get the biggest one out of the way. So that I started the Pumpkin Blossom Row next, and I got it done. Now, I got these 2 done in the same day. I finished both of them. So my Harvest Moon was about 238 stitches, and my Pumpkin Blossom Row was 838 stitches. And I finished both of these that day. So that's what I accomplished on that day. So then the next morning, on the 24th, I got up, and the first thing I did was work on my candy corn row. This is sort of like candy corn. It's hard to see, but there's the candy corn colors are in there. It was 546 stitches, and I finished it. So now my pre-stitching is complete for my finishing class. So I don't have to worry about that. I just need to make sure I pack this and take it with me for the class. And then after I finished all of these, I had to do my bingo stitching for the day, because I had put that off until I finished this, because my goal for the whole weekend really and truly was to finish my Nest is Blessed and to get these done. Those were the things I wanted to do at the retreat, and I got those finished. So I was really, really proud of that. Then it was like, okay, now what is my bingo stitching for the day? And as it turned out, I could meet the requirement with my Nativity Tiny Town. So that was a recent May Monday start as well. And I thought, this is perfect, because I get more progress on a May Monday start, which is good. So I'll remind you of what Nativity Tiny Town looks like. And I am splitting mine right in here, right about here. And I'm going to insert the 3 wise men there and just make mine all one piece. But I haven't gotten there yet. But I did get 101 stitches in to meet my requirement that day. And then the next day I put in 171 stitches. So I did, you know, one house, and then the next day I added in another house and started on another one. So I'm just working my way across my Nativity tiny town. I love it. It's easy to stitch in a group because it's just blocks of color. Makes it very easy to work on. And so that's where I got to on that. Then I wanted, well, for my Out of the Stash at Last, I had shown you what I was going to do. And it was this little Christmas angel called Noel Angel. And I did get a good start on her. I got 305 stitches on her, and I got her face done and all but one color in her unruly hair. And I got her collar on her shirt done. And I thought 305 stitches is a really good new start. So I stopped there so I could do some other things as well. But I think she's going to be really cute. I'm looking forward to doing some more work on her. So for the rest of the day, I wanted to stitch on something that, you know, I just needed to put some stitches in to push it closer to a finish. And I have just fallen in love with this chart, and I want to work on it. So I pulled it out, and I worked on Ode to a Good Dog. So this is the sampler. I'll remind you what it looks like from Ellen Reed. She's Maximum Cross Stitch is her design label, and her YouTube channel is Maximum Cross Stitch. And I worked on this thing a lot. I put in 924 stitches into this. So I made it all the way across and turned the corner and came down on the side just a little bit, and I finished the first line of text. So that says, therefore, to this dog will I, comma. But isn't that beautiful? The colors are so pretty. And I had stitched Coco in there. Thank you, Ellen, again, for charting that for me. I chose to do the 1/1 charting. I thought that looked delicate and dainty. And so that's where I've gotten to on there. And my intention is to do the next line of text and then bring the border down again and keep going, just working all the way across as I go. So there you have it. That's where I got to on that one. Big progress, I felt like. Then, so on Monday, before we came home, I had my May Monday start. And so we were still stitching at midnight, several of us. So at 12:06 a.m. on Monday, I had my new start. And it is a girl in her garden. And I stitched just a tiny bit. I stitched probably about 90 stitches or so in it. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to bed. It started. I've met the requirement. Even if I don't get to do much on it Monday, because Monday's the day we were coming home, I can still count it as started. You know, it's a small start. But Monday, we did not have to be out of there till 5 o'clock. We left, the last of us left about 4 o'clock. So that meant Monday, I had more time to stitch than I thought I would. And I put in a total, all total, with what I started at 12:06 in the morning and what I finished up with. I did 402 stitches in my new start. And I've almost finished one little section of this drum. So this is the part I'm doing. I've gotten to right here. So I will start on the basket and the girl next. I've gotten to the good part. It's awesome. So this is beautiful linen too. It's it's called Beach, and it was gifted to me in a retreat exchange. The pattern, the linen, and all the floss, and all the finishing materials. It was one of those where you stitch something, you fully finish it a way that you want to, you bring it to display, and then you gift a kit to do the same thing for somebody else. And that's the exchange, is the kit. And it was just the luck of, you know, it was my good fortune that I picked this gift. The linen is from Mani de Donna, and I've never stitched on a Mani de Donna linen before, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, the blues and so it's like a sandy beach with a little bit of water color, you know, the color of the ocean thrown in is just beautiful. And it's stitching up pretty quick, so I'm excited about it. There is a picture in here of it all stretched out so you can see the whole thing. This is a drum finish, but this is what it will look like when I finish stitching it laid out flat. So as you can tell, I've stitched up to here. So the next portion will be her, and then I'll have that to go. But this was my final, I believe it's my final May Monday start, isn't it? Yes, my final May Monday start. So I've done them all. I've already finished one. And I'll just keep working on those as we go. But that has been my stitching through the weekend at the retreat. So I wanted to share that with you. And it's unusual for me to have so many things to show you at one time because I don't do my video format that way usually. But it was funny today when I sat down to do everything. I looked at my little journal to see what I stitched on in what order so I could put them in order to share with you, because that made sense to me to do it that way. And it was reminiscent of when I used to do my early videos, when I did them once a week or once a month or something, and I put everything on the table and I had it all stacked up in order, and it had these big stacks going across the desk to show, and then you have to put it all away. I'm glad I don't do it that way normally, because it can create quite a lot of work. But I didn't want to film while I was gone. I wanted to live in the moment. And as I mentioned before I left, not everybody there does floss tube, and they don't want to be on camera. And I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. Like they're going to be, oh, Dina's going to be filming. I hope I don't get on the camera. You know, I didn't want any of that at all. So I didn't. I just enjoyed being with everybody, talking with everybody. So Whipgo numbers were called while we were gone. And the numbers were 23 and 21. So for me, 23 is my whip closest to a finish. And my 21 is a hands-on design project. So those are the two things that I need to work on in June. My whip closest to a finish and a hands-on design project. And I hadn't had a chance to color in my Whipgo yet from May yet, because I just finished it. I was waiting to start my Nativity Tiny Town. It was my number 19 for May. That was one of the ones called. And so I am happy now that I can color that in. So there's my Nativity Tiny Town is colored in. I almost have a bingo. Look here. I have only one left in that column. I have only one left in this row. Yay. That's awesome. So those are the two things that I need to work on. I'm going to write in June on those two so that I know those are the two ones I have to do. Tonight, I have a Zoom call with my planning group, and we will be going over acrostics that we know so far, which would be the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch and the Magazine Monthly Challenge group, and we'll know our Whipgo calls. So we'll talk about how we're going to do those and that sort of thing, but we're also starting our Great British Bake Off Challenge on June 1st. So I have my 12 whips assigned to the bakers. I'm ready to go. I've got a little spreadsheet to track it. And while we were at our little retreat this weekend and we were talking about it, 6 more people decided to do it with us. So if you want to do it too, it's season 8 that we will be doing. And, I think it's called Collection 8. It's on Netflix. And it's the Great British Baking Show on there. They had to, the name they had to change it because of I think the Pillsbury Bake Off or something was copyrighted, and they had some complaints about that. So it's called the Great British Baking Show on Netflix. We call it the Great British Bake Off game that we're playing. So that's what we're doing. But if you'd like to start it, feel free. All you have to do is come up with your 12 whips. And I have heard from one person who didn't want that many whips. So they came up with 6 and they assigned each whip 2 bakers. So if anything happened in either of those 2 bakers, then that same whip gets the stitches instead. And if you want to put more stitches in a particular group of whips, then that's a great idea, to do that. But I like variety, and I have enough whips right now that I could do 12 without any trouble. And so I picked 12. And then as the bakers' names appear on the screen, whether it be across the screen while they're talking to the person, or whether the first time you see it is when they show the recipe that what they're trying to make for that challenge, and it'll have their name at the top of the page. That's when we say they're introduced, is when their name appears on the screen, either way. And that way, that gives us the order. So I have the order that we're following, and if you want that from me, just email me. My email's in the bottom. And I'll be happy to email it to you, what we're doing. But you got to watch the show anyway to see what you're doing. And we've set number of stitches for each event that we're working on. And I was going to give that to you as well, so let me do that. So if you want to play along, what we've decided to do is to say that we're going to stitch on a whip for the following things. That whoever gets the first in technical in that little round of competition, you stitch 100 stitches in that piece. Whoever gets last in technical, you stitch 50 in that piece. The star baker that's awarded each show, we do 125 stitches. And the person who's sent home, that whip gets 75 stitches. And then whoever gets a handshake gets 150 stitches. And there have been a couple of episodes where there have been more than one handshake. So you had to do 150 for each of those whips. But if you only have one handshake in the show, if you stitched all of those stitches in that week, it's only 500 stitches. We kept it small because we all have other things to do. Now, the one thing we did decide to do when we played this game the first time to kind of iron out all the kinks is if there was no handshake given at all, we didn't want those stitches to not go somewhere. So we added that 150 stitches for the handshake into the whip that was for the person that was going home, because that way you got more stitches and it's not going to be stitched on for the game anymore because that baker's not there. So they're not going to get any more handshakes, or they're not going to get star baker. They're not going to get first and technical because they won't be there. So every week, one of your whips gets retired out of the game because that baker gets sent home. And so you go from 12 whips down to the final 3. And you have the last episode, the 10th episode is the finale. And for the finale, the star baker is the winner. So that's what we did. And those are the stitches we did. Now you can make this your game, change it up. If you do, if you want more stitches than that, feel free to add more than that. We just thought 500 was a good figure that we could try to get in a week's time with all of our other stitching, because we do this in addition to our acrostics or anything else that we're working on. So I think that's all the news for you today. Thanks so much for letting me give you such a long-winded catch-up. But it's been a few days, and a lot has transpired, and a lot of stitching has taken place. So I'd say that's a pretty good retreat. I had 4 finishes. 3 were new starts and finishes, so they were SAFs. And then 1 was just a finish of a May Monday start. Okay, I'll let you get on to the next clip, and I will talk to you soon. Hopefully have more stitching to share. Happy stitching, everybody.